Welcome to another video where I'm going to teach you how to test SMD components on laptop motherboards. So I'm going to use the continuity option for the majority of components that we're gonna test. So let's select the continuity option here, or the diode option, as you can see. So let's begin with MOSFETs. But please don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and hit the bell icon to be notified for any uploaded video like this one. And for anyone who wants to accelerate learning, you can join me in my Patreon page, the link in the description. As you can see here, we have three types of MOSFET. We have this kind of MOSFET. This is SMD MOSFET. Of course, here we have source, drain, and we have the gate. We have also this kind of MOSFET, we called it flat SMD MOSFET. We find it usually next to the CPU. So, of course, here also we have source, this is gate, and this is drain. Do you see? Source, three pins connected together, and always we locate the source with this dot over here, as you can see, or this white mark. Always the pin number 1, 2, 3 are for source. Okay, and of course we have also this kind of MOSFET. As you can see here, we have source, of course, and here we have drain. So if we check this MOSFET, for example, let's begin with this one. We can just put the black probe here in the source and the red probe in the drain. So we have a reading. Okay, we have a reading. If we swap the probes, normally we should not get a reading, but here we get a reading because the MOSFET is connected to the board. Okay, so let's see, for example, those MOSFET also here. So we have here source and here we have drain. We get a reading about 500 drop voltage. If we swap the probes, as you can see, we get another reading because the MOSFET is connected to the board. Here basically we have other MOSFET. Those MOSFET is for CPU. Let's check between drain and source. Normally those MOSFET should give a very low resistance. Let's see. Do you see in the multimeter we have 13 or 20? This is not a short. This is because we have the CPU here. So always for the CPU circuit, you will get a low reading, as you can see. The same also for this one, you will get a low reading. Do you see? A low reading. So 12 is the resistor for the CPU, because always for the CPU and chipsets, okay, and chipsets like those, the resistance is very low because they work in a fast way. So if the resistance is higher for chipsets and processor, so the data will not be transferred in a fast way. That's why always for chipsets and processor we find a low resistance. So this is for MOSFETs. So of course, next to this MOSFETs, the capacitors or the tantalum capacitors are polarized. As you can see, always we have here plus and minus. But for the CPU, for those capacitors in the CPU circuit, we're gonna get the same resistance as we get in the MOSFET. Do you see? The same resistance. Okay, this resistance, this is not a short circuit, this is the resistance for the CPU. So same for capacitors. Do you see? For tantalum capacitor we have 12. For MOSFET we have 12. Also for the inductor with the ground, as you can see, we will get 12. As you can see, do you see? So we get 12. Do you see? We get 12 for the inductor. We get also 12 when testing the capacitor, and also we get 12 when testing the MOSFET. The same resistance. The resistance is for the CPU. So please pay attention to this tip. This is not a short circuit. This is the resistance for the CPU. And another time for beginner to be sure, I can even remove the CPU. As you can see, if I remove the CPU like this, if I remove the CPU, okay, the CPU is removed. If I check now the 10 ohm capacitor, we have a high reading in the multimeter. For the inductor with the ground, we have a high reading, as you can see. Also, the MOSFET, we have a high reading. So once we connect back the CPU, and of course lock the CPU screw, we will get again the same reading. For the 10 ohm capacitor, we have 12. For the MOSFET, if we test the MOSFET between source and drain, we have 12. Also for the inductor and the ground, we have 12, as you can see. And of course 10 ohm capacitor, we have 12. Okay, so this is the resistance for CPU. The same for chipsets also. You will find same thing for chipsets. For ceramic capacitors, you should not get a continuity. You see, this is a good ceramic capacitor. This one also is a good one. This one also is a good one, etc. We have many kind of ceramic capacitor. Those are ceramic capacitor. This one also is ceramic capacitor. Here we have ceramic capacitor, etc. But always the ceramic capacitors belong to CPU circuit. You're gonna find always a low reading, as you can see. This is not a short circuit because this capacitor belongs to CPU circuit. Always the same working principle. But for capacitors in other circuits, you should not get a low resistance, as you can see. You should always get a reading, as you can see. Okay, so this is for capacitors. And of course, to test inductors, of course, inductor is just a wire like this. Inductor is a wire, so you should get a continuity, a zero reading. So this is good. If you didn't get a continuity, it means the inductor is failed. The same for this resistor, this zero resistor, or this shunt resistors where we have zero, the same as inductors. You should get a low resistance, as you can see. Okay, of course, this kind of resistor you can test it using the continuity option or the resistance option. Please pay attention. You can find some component, SMD component, like ceramic capacitors. This one, for example, this is not a capacitor. This is a ceramic capacitor. Here we get a reading. Do you see? But this is not a ceramic capacitor. We should get zero reading. Do you see? Why? Because this is inductor. So this is inductor. This is inductor. As you can see, we get zero. This one also is inductor. But those are capacitors. This is capacitors. This one is capacitor. This one also is capacitor. But this one is, as you can see, inductor. Do you see this brown or a little bit black color? This is inductor. So do not confuse between inductors like this one and capacitor. This is inductor, this is capacitor. So those kind of component, this is diode. Always locate this white mark. This is cathode here, and here we have anode. We should get a reading. Do you see? We have a reading. If we swap the probe, normally we should not get a reading. But here, because the diode is connected to the board, we get a reading, as you can see. No problem. This is a good diode. We have here another diode. Always, as I told you, locate the white mark. The white mark is the cathode. And here we have the anode. We get a reading, you see? 500, 600. If we swap the probes, as you can see, we get another reading. No problem, because the diode is connected. Let's check. This is basically, those are transistors, 3-terminal transistor. It could be also MOSFET, but those are transistors, and this is HP MOSFET. This is crystal. This is IC. Here, guys, do you see? Over here, we have capacitor, inductor, capacitor. Do you see? Here we have a shunt resistor, we should get a 0 reading. Here we have capacitor, we should get a high reading, low reading, because this is inductor, low reading, inductor, high reading, capacitor, high reading, capacitor, high reading, capacitor, okay, inductor, low reading. This is a shunt resistor. Okay, so please try to do not confuse between several capacitors and inductors like those. And for ICs, of course, to test the ICs, you should have a schematic and know about the inputs and outputs. But you can just check the several capacitors around the IC. If you didn't find a short circuit, means you didn't find shorted capacitors, means the IC is good. Also, you should check the IC using your finger. If you feel that the IC is very hot, above normal, means the IC is bad. Or if you find shorted capacitors, ceramic capacitors, means also the IC is bad. And of course, this is a rule. All ICs you will find, as you can see, ceramic capacitors around it. Do you see this IC also? We have ceramic capacitors around it. All ICs. So for tantalum capacitor, guys, please pay attention. For tantalum capacitor, this is another motherboard. You can find tantalum capacitor like this, as you can see, like those yellow, or like this one, as you can see over here. But the same working principle. Always you should not get a low reading, as you can see, for tantalum capacitor, unless in the CPU circuit you can get a low reading. So here, guys, this is a transistor. This one we have Q22. This is a transistor, and always we have the base, okay, base, collector, emitter. So between collector and emitter we have a reading. Okay, so this is a good transistor. If we swap the probes, of course, we should not get any reading, as you can see. Okay, and this one, this is a fuse. Okay, this is a fuse. We have even here F1. So let's check this fuse. We get a low reading in the multimeter. So this is a good fuse. Here, of course, we have other transistor. Always here we have base, collector, emitter. Always between collector and emitter you should get a reading. But if you swap the probes, as you can see, no reading, or you can get a reading because the transistor is connected to the board. This is basically electrolytic capacitor. For electrolytic capacitor, always we have plus here and minus. So this is the positive terminal and the negative terminal. This is polarized component. So of course, the same working principle, we should not get any reading. But because here, this is the processor, we get a low reading. This is not bad, this is good. But if we move on, for example, to this one here, we should get a high reading. As you can see, a high reading. Do you see? We get a high reading. But as I told you, always near to the chipset and the processor, the low reading is good, is not bad. Let's check right now the resistance. Here, for example, we have a 100 resistor. 100 means basically 10 ohm, because the third number is number of 0. So 10 ohm. If we check it, do you see? About 10, we have 10 ohm, as you can see. For this resistor, for example, we have 2R2, about 2.2 volt. So 4.6, about, so 4.6 approximately. So here we have this kind of resistor, this one and this one, we called it, do you see, we have R. This is current sense resistor, usually about 2 ohm, 2.2. Do you see? 2.4. This one also, this is a very low resistance, 2.6. So basically, the purpose of this resistance is to measure the current consumed by the motherboard. Those basically, we called it network resistor, and we find the value above it. The network resistor gather many resistors. It could be 4, 5, or 3. And the purpose of this network resistors, as you can see here, is basically to gain the space in the motherboard. So let's check, for example, this network resistor. Do you see we have, this is a network resistor. We have 103. So always the third number 3 is 3 zeros, means 10K or 10 kilo ohm. Okay, so let's check. We have 40, about 10K. Okay, as you can see. And always, as you can see, I choose here 20K. Always try to choose the higher, the higher value. Okay, don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell icon to be notified, share and like the video. Remember, your likes motivate me to create more useful videos for you. And if you want to accelerate and level up your troubleshooting level, you can join me in my Patreon page, the link in the description, where you're gonna find many exclusive videos, content, schematics, and also where I can be your mentor and help you fix any motherboard issue you have.